Ducks Unlimited. We're having our yearly banquet, and I want to invite you all to come out. It's going to be about $20 for a student ticket. That's all the barbecue you can drink, as well as beverages and all any kind of beverages you can imagine. That's going to be on November 13th, and like I said, it's going to be a great time. We raised $180,000 for conservation efforts last banquet. We had a handful of people show up. So I'd love you all to come out. If you want to come talk to me. I can get you a ticket. Like I said, $20 for all the barbecue and beverages you can drink, unlimited beverages.
All right, so thank you. We're going to hear from, you got questions. So we're going to hear from Jared Springer.
Do you know any of the raffle prizes or silent auction stuff y'all be doing this year?
We have some good prizes. We usually have another under shotgun that we auction off. We've got a live auction as well as a silent auction. We've got lots of prints, lots of things we've got donated. We've got fishing packages, outdoor packages, lots of guns. If you want to hop in the live auction, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, y'all definitely can come out.
Okay, we're going to Senator Marinoff.
Howdy, Senator Marinoff, Engineering.
Please do in order.
What will you do to ensure that the beverages section includes no sin?
It includes what?
No, that's dilatory. All right. Senator Gruminger.
Senator Gruminger called Jim Saxes. Where at what time?
It's going to be at the Reds Expo Center around 7 o'clock on November 13th. So come talk to me. I'll get y'all some tickets.
Are there any more questions for
Rick Perry, Governor. Just to clarify, the beverages will be like the Ducks, unlimited?
Yes, we'll have lots of beverages, all shapes and sizes.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions for Senator Junior? Thank you. All right, tonight we're going to hear from Senator Marinoff, on-campus student representing class.
Hey! All right, how is that?
You might have heard the district is planning on renovating King Hall, and we're planning on putting in a conference center with 150 hotel rooms. But so I attended the meeting last Thursday, the proposal meeting, where they had some company executives that previously basically here in the outline. They really don't have a concrete plan for exactly what they want to do. The conference center and the hotel room are kind of for there. They're kind of, and they're relying more on the companies that are working with to give us proposals for the exact renovation. And the proposal deadline for the companies to submit is November 15th. And I was told by Philip Ray, the business development officer of the system, that he won't be able to come talk to us until it's back there. So after that, I'll try to arrange
Are there any questions for Senator Marinoff? Seeing none, thank you. And then we're going to hear from Happy, representing Senate, allocations student class 2016.
Hey. Well, howdy, Ags.
Howdy.
All right, guys. I'm just up here. Sorry, that's a little more happy. I'm just up here, and I'm so happy to be in front of you guys. And I'm going to talk about the rules of this meeting. So obviously, dress code. Y'all are all fine. You feel free to address yourself as Lobster, Captain Cook, Governor Perry, Brother Jed, whatever you would like. I would encourage you all to keep it appropriate. Like we had a couple rulings by Madam Speaker about that. So I stand by her and all that. Because you keep this somewhat professional, but at the same time, feel free to have fun with it. And thanks again.
Are there any questions for Senator? Seeing none, thank you. Great, and that ends the report. So now we are going to move into a period of old business. And I will, yes. No. That's all that I have on this. Okay, so I think you have to
Madam Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to reopen.
a motion to reopen the period of the May of the second, all in favor of reopening the period of the forum, please say aye.
Aye.
Please say
Nay.
nay. Right, that's it. Okay, so the period of open forum is now reopened. If you can get that other sheet that we happen to have. Oh, did somebody drop your email? There's somebody from the Italian. Okay. Please stay in order. Oh, there is. Okay, so we're going to hear from, is it Catherine Mueller, what's her name? Environmental Studies major representing Replant class 26.
Hey.
And you will have 5 minutes to begin that. Howdy.
Howdy.
Like she said, my name is Howdy Mueller, and I am the director for Replant. We're talking about the bill tonight that's in old business. And basically, just like a little refresher about the bill, our bill, we're changing it to reflect the greater community instead of just the Bryan College Station area. For the past 2 years, we've gone to Bastrop State Park and participated in a lost time recovery campaign and planted trees there as well. So we're changing the mission statement to reflect that. So we're changing it to reflect our sponsors, our alumni, and any donors so that they know what we're doing and we can kind of keep it up to date. We've also had in the last few years since we've gone to Bastrop for the lost time recovery campaign, a huge spike in sponsors and donors. So we've gotten a lot of media attention. My mom, she lives in Dallas. She said one of her friends came up to her and was like, "Oh, your daughter's an Aggie. Like, was she a part of that?" And she's like, "Well, actually, she's on the committee that plans it." So we've gotten a lot of media attention, and I think it's a really great thing for A&M that we've spread out through the Bastrop area. So without further ado, Olivia O'Barron is going to talk a little bit about why we think the added causes are necessary.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and I'm the fundraising exec for Aggie Replant. And I know there's been some concerns about why we are changing our mission statement. And I'm just going to say this year and all the years I've planned on being in Aggie Replant, we don't plan on asking SGA for any funds for outside the Broward County area. We have had an increase in sponsors and donors since we have been exposed on the news, in the newspaper, and several other like mediums of social media and other places output. So we would just prefer for Replant from 10 years from now, whenever none of us are in, or students at Lane, and to not have any restrictions on us because we don't know what is going to happen down the road. We don't know how Replant's going to look, what other projects they're going to be looking to do after this basketball project ends. Furthermore, even if we have the ability to request funds from SGA, it doesn't mean that we would necessarily receive them. Also, this year we received funds in our allocations in 2 categories for which we did not request for this year, but we had requested last year. And therefore, why would it be impossible to distribute those funds into a category that would be beneficial for the greater good of Texas and the A&M reputation if it was that if we needed those funds in the future. And now we're here from Sierra Jasso, one of our community members here to speak about her, like what I do in center.
Hi, I'm Sierra, and I actually used to go to Bastrop State Park with my family, and although I really enjoyed the fishing part with my dad, still enjoyed the overall experience. And whenever it, 2011, the fire happened, that was something that affected my life personally, and getting to go back with Replant was really awesome. And just last year was my first year, and they were really excited when they see these tiny little trees that are grown, and so I'm really excited to go back and see them planted. They've gotten, and it's just a lot of fun, and just in general, Replant has given me more appreciation for this community and other communities outside of Bryan College area, and just a greater appreciation for nature in general. And so I love Replant, and it's just a lot of fun to get that personally involved in your community.
Great. Questions from
That's not a little large. Did Replant request money for the basketball project in the past 2 years?
not in our year allocation. So then we're going to go to
Senator Hood off campus. Requests for trees then, were those not used in Bastrop?
No, so the way it works is we request money for Replant Day. That's where we provide the trees for Bastrop and allocation. So we're really grateful for that. So our funds are basically to get our students to Bastrop State Park so that these trees can actually be planted and for this forest to grow and help the next forestry department in their 5-year plan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Goose talked about this. Can you explain what organizations that are using the money have to do?
Organizations.
And like,
Donors?
yes.
We've had NRG, which is an energy company, set up an endowment for us. We've had Insuron based in the past year. Insuron and Semi have sponsored us. We've gotten a donation from one of our we just went out to Mock Replant today and they decided to sponsor us. The Scott Campman, who actually created ID Replant, their family has donated consistently every year and has worked with us to find other donors in the Bryan culture or in Texas and in the United States to come back and help us. And we've also last year we sent out a newsletter to all of our old members and anyone interested in like environmental conservation. And from that we got a lot of sponsors back from that. Then last week we also got an email from one of our old exec members where he and his company are looking to sponsor us and we're working with them right now to get the sponsorship. Just wanted to make any question and answer. I was just no, I'm just saying.
Oh, one minute.
Right.
Sure, so it's a constituent price. In the past, it was suggested for Replant when they request money from SBA to instead go to the Aggie Green Fund, since it is soon to be members world that is dedicated to growing side trees. So, is that something that you all did this year, request money from the Aggie Green Fund for last year, so that you would have to request money for $50,000 that's given to SBA?
No, we have not gone to them. We've reached out to a lot of different other sponsorships that we knew were kind of like a fire deal. But that's definitely something we will look into so we don't have to, I guess, okay, are there any other questions for any of the representatives? Thank you so much for coming. All right, and that closes the period of the report. So we're going to go ahead and move into SB. We're going to move over this. So we're going to start with SB 5703, the constitutional update bill. So we go on with please come forward.
Point of first reference. The protest please email out the highlighter.
If I get it all.
There we go.
All right, well, howdy, Ags.
Howdy.
So what we have here, basically the constitutional update bill, how it reads is the whereas is like we need to improve our constitution, and then the second one is that our constitution shall read as follows, and then this is the constitution with the changes highlighted. So we're basically just going to go straight down the line through the changes, and this change was one of the characters. Yeah, just one of the characters members. So we're just going to go through the whole thing. It's probably 10 or 12 changes.
Okay, so the biggest change that we looked at in making these amendments were to fix
problems and make it so that people can go in there and view stuff. You know, we didn't run into problems like we did with different interpretations on what a day means, what an announced meeting is, like we did for the executive appointment past year, like we have with previous student sessions. Student Senate sessions running up to the deadline. So basically, we changed the language such that a general assembly meeting means basically what we're having today. That's a full meeting in the Senate body where you can consider all sorts of business or a special session. An announced meeting is a general assembly meeting. Believe me, it's looked at there before. That's held with at least 3 days notice. This way, you can't have somebody that you can't have the speaker or the student body president say at 11:55 p.m. Oh, special session tomorrow at 12:05. A day has been a 24-hour period. It's expired. It's gone on. Oh, boom! Nobody's here. 2 absences for everyone. You do that 3 days in a row. Everyone's gone. Pretty scary. But this change makes it where that can't happen.
I will add, while we're going down here, all of these amendments were amended unanimously, so no vote against. I carried my vote. This next one, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a very important clause, in my opinion. This is talking about the executive branch, our elections, the election commission, things like that. So it reads, the executive branch shall be charged with conducting a free and fair election for candidates seeking office within the student government system. Should the student body president, executive vice president, or any other officer that oversees the student government association elections utilize his office or the property of the student government association to endorse or support any candidate that should be immediately in office and replaced in accordance with the student government association. So this is something we talked about a lot. This is something that we sat there in committee probably for about 30 minutes trying to figure out another way to do this. But the fact of the matter is, this is the only way you can do it. You can make the election commission part of the ship before, because the election commission gets sued. You can't make it part of the student senate because we're not really about enacting things, and we have the same conflict of interest that we're talking about here with the executive branch. It basically has to be under the executive.
Yeah, and another clarifying point is, so say you have student body president Joe. The student body president Joe is supporting Senate candidate Bob. Joe can go around and he can say, Forrest Allen should vote for Bob. He can say Kerry Cheshire should vote for Bob. I'm Joe. He can't say I'm student body president Joe and send out a campus-wide email, use a student body president phone, use a Twitter account, use a golf cart campaign form, that sort of stuff. It's restricted to within the office. So as a private individual, you can do whatever you want. You cannot use the office for political reasons.
Yeah, so stuff that was done last year, like for reasons and like Kyle's campaign, that would be totally, that's the reason personally endorsing him. However, like you said, like using a Twitter account, sending out the campus-wide email and SVP, things like that. This is designed to combat that. We think it's important. We think it's the committee approved this unanimously. We thought that it's really important just to the integrity of our organization. Move on.
Oh, okay, so this is my change. It's not necessary in the Constitution for presenting a specific vision. That's something that can be done anytime the city body president wants to have a special presentation. So there's no point having 2 extra lines. It's going to happen anyway, so there's no reason why it needs to be in the Constitution. Yeah, and that's a feel good name.
Yeah, and another thing we're trying to do is just cut off as well. Have the Constitution that way. No reason to do that.
Oh, that's a change to reflect the general assembly wording. That's already contained. So here it says, this is talking about if you have a student senate meeting that not enough people go to, how the members there can censor people who aren't there. You can already do that in the censor provisions of Senate bylaws and the Constitution, so it's unnecessary to have there. All right, there. Oh, that's a expiring clause. So as of January 1, 2012, that happened 2 years ago. Here, okay, by bill, that's unnecessary because that's what you have to do to bylaws. Filling vacancies, there used to be an appointment process. We got rid of that in the Senate bylaws. We need to never come back again, ever. So we ought to remove it from the Constitution. That's a corrupt system where we basically are pushing ourselves. That is a thing to reflect the fact that you can't call special sessions that aren't announced meetings, that they have to comply with the 3-day window. Okay, first one expired. Gotcha. Okay, so that's an expiring clause that doesn't need to be there anymore. Yeah, okay.
So this is basically going back to the, that great little part of the meeting we had 2 weeks ago where we were talking about J-Corp bylaws. This is basically taking their J-Corp bylaws and putting the rule they wanted in their J-Corp bylaws that Governor Perry and I believe are unconstitutional and putting it in the Constitution. So it wasn't that we had an issue with the rule, we think it's a good rule. We just had a issue with it being in the bylaws that we think is unconstitutional. So basically we made it constitutional. And that's about if that was about if a candidate enters into election and their J-Corp justice and their.
Okay, the next change was to get rid of the position of Vice Chief Justice in the Constitution. They can still have one in the J-Corp, but I don't think you need to mandate a Vice President in a 9-member organization. I mean, their voice got through. So it's kind of silly. So that's getting rid of Vice Chief Justice language. Here, this clarifies the preamble of this Constitution or any other item of legislation clarifies a fully decided J-Corp case that we had last semester in which people thought they could use the preamble of things that don't contain any legally binding language to legally bind people. So this clarifies something that's not legally binding is not legally binding. Next one. Oh, okay. So the next change was getting rid of the voting powers of governance council. A lot of you aren't aware of what governance council is. It's a big feel-good dinner where the Vice President of Student Affairs used to be General Weber, now Reber, give free food to officers and give them updates on things. It's actually pretty cool. It used to have a contrived purpose where you try and vote on resolutions. The way you vote on resolutions is here, not in some other committee. Every senator has a voice, so all the legislative body should be able to do that. They did that 3 years ago. They haven't done it since. There's no point having it. I'm all for people still having free dinner. We pay a lot of student fees and they pay for it. But, you know, there's no need to have a vote or any process there. Go on.
Madam Speaker, I move to extend the period of presentation by an additional 2 minutes. Yeah.
Anyway, removal procedures go in and clarify Senator Justice J-Corp is my president, members in the other association. That's a verbiage change. This was the J-Corp right to appeal because that's unnecessary and they can't rule on anything except for parents anyway.
Due to time required, if there are no contests, I'm going to extend the meeting by 5 minutes.
All right. Here. Oh, okay. So attendance policies. Every single branch says the J-Corp can adopt attendance policies. The Senate can adopt attendance policies. There's actually not a means by which the executive branch can adopt attendance policies. It's not really necessary because all members of the executive branch serve at the whim of student body president. So if one person was late to one meeting, or even one person every single one of the meetings, I would say you're fired or I'm promoting you, whatever. But they ought to be able to have some sort of automatic trigger clause if they so want to. That's an expiring clause. Okay, so this change says the student body president shall, or the student body shall empower the next statute to the Senate in the form of petition. It's not a recall petition. A recall petition is when you get rid of somebody. You're recalling. You don't recall by passing a bill. Right there. Oh, of course, further like Chief Justice and other expiring clauses. So that's what we got.
No, I mean, I just like to emphasize, these are things that could be thought about a long time after we had about almost a 3-hour meeting, going through these, so we had all the language drafted. So there's a lot of deliberation, we ended up deciding on this, you know, we thought about it, we think this is the best, direction to take our government association, we think it's the best thing to do, so.
Yeah, it's a much needed modernization. If you see in there, there's a lot of expiring clauses from 2012. Back then, Jody Harris was the regulations chair, and that guy, great guy, can barely spell his own name. And he would admit to that. So anyway, we definitely need to do this overhaul, especially since we're all problems.
Before I open up here to question 5, it's extremely important, and I can say that these two are really on your laptop. I know probably many of you on your laptop, and that's the recording you're watching this, but a large majority of you are on your phone. So that's really respectful to them, and it's also really important. So we're going to start with President.
President Klingman, I put I put this up here because I was a little thrown off by a little bit of the language. I'm going to ask a series of questions that might be but the phrase "utilize his office," is that his physical office, or is that the office of being student body president? Because I think it's a very ambiguous law, or I think it's a very ambiguous.
Yeah, that probably actually is weird. Now, I don't think
With any time in the Constitution or in the Senate bylaws or any other document we have that refers to the duties of the office, it's not talking about things you have to clean up before you leave office. It's talking about the office.
I was just confused because it was called the Property and Government Association. So I was just in case anybody else was thrown off by that as well. How do you think that we will be able to handle the ambiguity there? Because what will constitute something being support? Is them being friends with the person, or somebody being, for example, their past EVP? Obviously that person's going to have support. I'm sure Reagan supported HW, but I'm a little thrown off by this, by the ambiguity.
Are you aware of what the duties and powers of the student body president are? And answer to each question, I guess. Are you aware of the privileges that you gain by being student body president? That is what this bill contains. Your personal property is A-OK. If you show up at some event, and let's say you're student body president, you can say, I, Brandon Klingman, support this candidate. You cannot say, I, student body president Klingman, support this candidate. You can't use SGA materials, which would mean the things granted to you by assuming this office. If you didn't get it from this office, it's A-OK to use. You could have a yard sign, or you could have a Facebook profile picture that says, vote for Carlos. You could have a Twitter handle on your Brandon Klingman Twitter account that says, vote for Carlos. You could have your Pinterest could read, vote for Carlos. I don't know how many votes you would gain, but it could do that. You couldn't at TAMU SVP or at SVP at TAMU.edu, or go to Abby Miles Clubs. That's what this talks about. how I think everyone should understand this.
Are there any more questions? All right, seeing none, thank you. We're going to move into a period of debate. We'll start with debate and begin. Do you have, are you taking like actions or things?
Yes.
Okay, that requires.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, so we're going to move into a period of debate and begin. And we'll start with President Mironoff. Remember, it's 2.5 minutes per side, and you'll record your name.
May I speak back in?
Can you please put it back?
Sorry.
Would you read what that is?
Well, the P&L is basically, a lot of students like President not 70 days, it says it's last day. And, I mean, in the federal government, the president is given every day except for Sunday, he's signed the bill that allow two violations.
Okay, so now that that amendment has been made, we are going to move into a period of debate on the amendment. So we're going to start with debate allegiance for. So is there any debate for the amendment? Okay, yes.
Brother Jed, the Righteous Caucus. I just want to say I support this bill because it encourages the president to work on a fast day and not on a Sunday, which is the word for the Lord.
You know, we've had this 7 days rule. This is the 67th session. For 66 sessions, we're not passing bills that we can say, we have to pass this to find out what's in it. We told you everything was in there. Most of our bills are 2 pages. You don't need a full week. You already get a full week. You get, you get extra than a full week. So you got the Wednesday to Wednesday. When we're going on special sessions, when we're running up the deadlines, when we're looking at, okay, something having to do with Christmas break, we expect that we can pass things. Our calendar is built around this. If you want to change this at the end of the year, I'll still be against it. I will be here. But other people will still be against it, and you can try it then. But this will screw up a ton of stuff that we got going on right now, and I yield to the chair.
They're happy rules and regulations. I'm against this for a lot of the reasons Harry just stated, but additionally, we're getting vetoed in on a Friday, so you can veto on a Friday after class, and then students said probably won't really know that it's one day. Trying to get a system, it doesn't give people prepared for the Senate repair. Then we're trying to run veto. It's not a good idea. It's not traditional. It's not what we can do for it. With that, I yield the floor.
Yeah, that's all I've been moving to. Yes.
Motion for discussion.
Motion for discussion has been made. Is there a second? All in favor of moving to discussion, please say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Okay, so we're going to move into a period of voting on the particular amendment. All in favor of adding this amendment to the bill, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Yay.
Okay, so.
Failed,
Yeah, sorry, my bad. That's all right. Failed unanimously. Failed. Might be too long now. Anyway. So, we're going to move on to the next part of said bill. So I believe you're on debate against the bill, so Senator Mironoff, you saw.
I yield the floor.
Okay, the floor is yielded. Is there debate for Senator?
It's a great bill. We ought to pass it. Previous question.
A motion for these questions has been made. All in favor of moving to the question, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to move into a period of voting on this particular bill. All in favor of passing SB 5703, the constitutional update bill, please say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the SB 6717 fish cake allocation insurance bill with the bill office please come forward.
I'm going to deviate from the agenda and swear the
Would you like to make a motion? Is there a second? Okay, all in
Point of
favor?
information, Madam Speaker, is there anything that prevents the Yukon people from being sworn in outside? Because we'll have to swear people in at every single meeting, and it takes like 10 minutes.
I believe these are the final things. Just FYI. So,
So is there anything preventing them from being
there's
sworn
nothing
in?
preventing them, but the chair highly encourages that we still have a different you can hear it now, so that everybody hears, so that everybody gets it. Okay, so the second, all in favor of going ahead and swearing these people in, please say aye.
Aye.
Please say
Nay.
Okay, so we can have the Yukon people go ahead and come on in, and if chief and if your mouth will be
All right, hold your right hand and repeat it. I state your name. I, Damon. Do solemnly swear. Do solemnly swear. Faithfully execute to the best of my ability. To faithfully execute to the best of my ability. The duties of the office of state office. The duties of the office of for the Texas A&M University Student Government Association. For the Texas A&M University Student Government Association. Will uphold the honor of the same. Will uphold the honor of the same. At all times, to protect the welfare of the student body. At all times, to protect the welfare of the student body. And promote good relations between the students. And promote good relations between the students and those concerned with the university. And those concerned with the university.
All right, so now we're going to move on to SB 6713, adoption of the insurance bill. Is Chair Basel to come forward? Okay, if everybody would remain in order, we have 2 minutes.
Howdy.
Hi, guys. All right, so I'm going to get through this bill. Brought it up 2 weeks ago during new business. So hopefully y'all were here last meeting and got to read through it. But briefly, just to explain what's going on with this bill, we decided as a Senate body to directly allocate $500 to the custodial banquet and hold $1,000 to reserve specifically for the officiating custodial banquet on the terms that they go out, since they haven't really reached out to all of A&M's community for all custodians. This is giving them a chance to reach out to the community, raise funding through different non-profit chairs, et cetera. And this would be a dollar-for-dollar matching program where the $1,000 that we're holding will be granted to them once they raise any amount of money. So if they raise $20 throughout the year, we give them $20. They raise the $1,000 that we held for them, they get $1,000 in return. So this is what that bill does, and it ensures that they get the money that we held for them. So you can scroll down. Okay, so these are the 2 enacted points. Like I said before, the $1,000, that's specifically being held for officiates on the terms that they raise outside funding. And the second point is that this is kind of what we came to a conclusion on, that would be a dollar-for-dollar matching program where, like I said before, they raise their own money, we give them money that's already allocated with them. And if for whatever reason, it shouldn't be a problem to raise $1,000 every year. But if for some reason they don't 30 days prior to the event, which is in April, then the remaining funding would be opened up to any organizations that need more funding. So that just really ensures that organizations do get funding when we allocate it. So.
Now we're going to do questions starting with Senator Fisher.
That's our Lawrence Commission preface, Madam Speaker.
Go ahead.
So in the committee meeting, I agreed that if we didn't amend the budget, that I would sponsor and vote for this bill. Then at the Senate meeting, you offered an amendment that you agreed on all that, and you offered an amendment that broke that promise. Can you tell me now why I should vote for this bill?
Okay, so first it wasn't a promise, it was speculation to be brought up in the Senate because it's not a guarantee. It was brought up in Senate or in our Senate committee meeting. So it wasn't a problem by any means. It was a logical argument, which we thought about, and based on my personal opinion and thinking about it more, it wasn't the ideal decision for me, but it's still something that we can definitely work with. I think it's still a great idea. In my opinion, it wasn't a one-time deal, but I think it still works based on the
Senator Watson Engineering. In the event the fish aid doesn't raise the money, and that funding is open to other organizations, committees, how is that process going to happen for them to? Are they going to apply?
It's a per request basis, so they would go to Amy Lloyd and through treaty to they would get direct funding through their direct funding.
Are there any further questions for Chair Goggles on the None, thanks. We're going to move into a period of debate. I'll put the recommendation to debate again.
Well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
This is not going to be a long fiery debate for me about this. I'm just going to speak this one time and then I'm done on this bill. I'm very disappointed in the process by which this came up. I'm very disappointed that we did come to a deal with members of the committee. Joseph Hood was there, Brian Dang was there, Preston Velasquez was there, where I would vote for the budget if we had it as last week, and I would vote for this bill, even sponsor this bill if we did it this way. Then at the meeting, that was all changed at the last minute with an item submitted just as an amendment to the budget. I'm doing everything that was decided in the committee by Chair G. There's no other committee in the Student Government Association that does this. There's no other committee in the Student Government Association that is this desperate, that wants to fight so hard. And I think that's a problem. Look, I know you're not going to buy into my crazy conspiracies about fish aids. A lot of you haven't been here long enough or long enough point flips to figure that out. But I think if you step back and look at it, there's something different going on here. There's some sort of power play. There's some sort of at least shady situation. There's no other organization we have to do this with. There's no other organization where you agree to something in committee and then they come out and they pull the rug out from under you on the floor. That's not how we usually operate. That's not how we should operate. This is a banquet that's never run as it's supposed to, that doesn't spend student fees in a wise way, going to a committee that never spends its own allotment, never fundraises enough, and never shows any initiative. Instead, it operates a treehouse in the front of police. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment. And go in there in the middle of the day, when they're lounging around on couches and pretending like it's a kindergarten classroom. This is utterly ridiculous. And, you know, I used to have a lot of faith in this body, and it's fading fast. I'm not going to fight you on this. I ask you to support me in voting no, but I'm not going to come down here and keep debating against this, because it's utterly ridiculous, and it ought to be rejected on its face. I have some faith left in y'all. I think y'all are better than this. Do the right thing.
They're happy your rules and regulations. Guys, I will say that I'm not a big fan of the change by any means. I do think it is a little bit like a country club where you have, you know, people and their siblings getting in. It's supposed to be a highly competitive prestige organization. They have had a dynasty of invited presidents. That's factual. I don't necessarily like their dynasty thing going on, although Kyle Kelly is the fish aid. But the reason I'm going to vote for this bill is because I think it is a great compromise that I would like to see precedent. I become precedent. I don't want to give them the money outright because the fact is theirs for compression. They're coming into the Student Government Association having proved nothing except they can sit in an interview and act professional, and maybe they have like a sibling in fish aid or something like that. That's all they prove. Now, let's go look at the big event who you give money out of. They've, you know, the chair of big event has probably been a big event for 4 years. They put a lot of work into the organization. and things like that. So I like this because it makes them prove themselves. They have to go out and raise the money, okay? And then we say, okay, you are a talented group of freshmen. You can go out and raise $1,000 pool matching. But if you can't, then we don't really have much faith in your own thing. So with that, I just think, guys, this is a great compromise. I think it's the right thing to do. And I'm going to vote for this bill. I agree with a lot of things Senator Cheshire said. Once again, I'm not a big fan of it, but I think it's a great compromise. With that, I yield the floor.
Motion to previous question.
All in favor of the previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Okay, so now we're going to be moving to a series of voting on this bill. So all in favor of passing SB 57, allocations insurance, so please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
All right, so now we are going to move on to SB 6719, the silver tax on this. So the bill offers 15 support. If we can still stay in order in the meeting.
Okay, so this bill, basically, I went and I met with the dude in charge of Oklahoma, and he was really nice. And I was like, hey man, we want to do the same. It's gonna be awesome. Everybody's gonna come to Silver Taps. It's gonna be cool. And he, to paraphrase really nicely, he was like, hell no, we can't do that. There's regulation because they send out over TV. The text messaging search goes out to way more people than we thought it was about to. Students goes out to a lot more people. Basically, there's no way to enact it. I sat there, I met with him for about 45 minutes, and I was trying to like poke forward, like, you know, what if we do this or this? And he was like, no, we can't do that. It's possible. He was really nice about it. Really nice guy. But basically, impossible. So I went and met with the person in charge of the Howdy logins group, and so that was our next idea was to utilize that space to the right there where right now it's advertising Howdy Mobile. And we met that guy today with a couple people from the exec named Dave and Justin, I believe are on Get Strong's team. And just kind of talked about the possibility. They said, yes, it's possible. The guy said, yes, I'm for it. However, he has to present it to a committee of people. Their next meeting is November 5th. So I drafted a new bill. We're going to amend this bill basically to lobby to change the Howdy login screen to Silver Taps reminder. It actually has asked for reminders for Silver Taps, bonfire remembrance, and Aggie mustard. And so it's kind of utilizing that space. They had a couple of concerns. He said we could do it tomorrow. It's just a policy. It's a policy issue. So there's been other departments that wanted to use that space. You know, like he didn't have examples, but let's say it could be like a department like the University Writing Center or something like that, where they're trying to advertise some type of student services. And our argument is kind of that the stuff we want to put on there, it affects all Aggie. You know, the Writing Center affects Aggie student health. But this is something that we're all a part of, it unites all of us, and we think it's a really good use of that space. So with that, do you guys have anything to add?
You covered it all good.
Awesome. So, then I'm done.
So we're going to proceed a question. Okay, so we're going to start with
They're watching here. Just an idea. If they have Howdy Mobile on their phone, is there any way to be able to send a text message or some type of message through Howdy Mobile to that device?
I don't know. And I don't know if that would be as effective as what's happening on
Chair Walter, Student Services. Aaron, given Chair Mitchell, given that this is the soonest that this could be enacted by the administration is after
the next potential solar tax date. Would you be opposed to a motion sending this back to committee to refine? Wait, so what do you mean about, I don't understand the question.
So-
The first part about solar tax date.
I'll go ahead and make that. So he is asking that because of the delay in this petition going into effect, which is a final bill after amendment 29, would you be willing to consider sending it back to committee, approving it because it does have a lot rather than making it up?
I don't think that's necessary because, the meeting where we will be lobbying for this will be November 5th. So,
Okay.
we wanna have the bill written so we can lobby. Does that make sense? We wanna have,
Point of information that is due to that's our local arts. Is there another set meeting between now and November 5th?
So it's October 22nd, the November 5th is a Wednesday, and that would be, that would be the day of that meeting.
yeah, so, and the meeting is at 8 a.m., so we need to have the bill done by, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, it took me a while to figure that out.
That's our local arts. Do you have it all already ready to go and we can speak through it, or could we table it till later in the meeting so you can work it out?
No, I've already
Okay, any other questions for, Sharon? None, okay. You're gonna move into a period of debate, I'm gonna set the voting, which is gonna make it against you.
All right, I have a motion to amend.
Okay, you have it right.
Yes. On the. Yeah.
So, motion to amend said bill has been made, and it's second, all in favor of, and Bill, please say aye.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so now I have the amended presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So the bill now reads, the tradition reminder bill. A bill requesting how to use login screen to be utilized to advertise silver taps, acupuncture, and other traditions that unite all Aggies. And then, so this last part is kind of so we can sell it to the administration and pay guys Kyle's other book. Enhance the Aggie experience. That's what the Kyle line. And thus strengthen the Aggie network. Whereas one, silver taps is one of Texas A&M's most honored traditions, and it's held, that hasn't changed. Neither has whereas two, it's held 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday. The Howdy login screen is currently used to advertise only things, this is something that you only need, only things about or within Howdy, such as mobile Howdy. For a while, they had the degree planner on there, which was all, it was, the guy who designed the degree planner was actually there. He was really cool there, really interested in like feedback about it. So, awesome people over there in GIS. And then, whereas four, the Howdy login page is viewed by thousands of students daily, is an excellent medium to advertise events and entertain all Aggies. Keyword all Aggies. Therefore, let me enact it. The Howdy login page is utilized to advertise silver taps, Aggie mustard, and other traditions that not all Aggies enhance the Aggie experience and thus strengthen the Aggie network and the content and frequency of these advertisements are planned jointly by the university and the FCA's Director of Communication. And the contents of the advertisement have a small text that reads brought to you by, followed by the city government. That guy just will be sent to Mark Husky, Jeff Claybrook, who's the Director of Communications, Ramesh Pond, that's the guy that we're up today, and Stephen Ragusa is the guy who designed it.
So, we're gonna go ahead and move into a period of debate on the future committee. We'll start with debate 4. Debate 4 again. Yes.
Vote for it and get magnets.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend the debate again. Sure.
Madam Speaker, has an amendment to the amendment.
Okay, so there's a motion for an amendment to amendment. Please submit Ryan and read it to the body.
Yes, this amendment strikes, let it be enacted 3.
Okay, so is there a second to, all in favor of moving forward with the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so if you would like, could you explain this? You can use it, you get anybody else.
This is a strike, let it be further enacted three, stating the content of this advertisement, has small text that reads, brought to you by, followed by the Student Government Association.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move into a debate on the amendment, to the amendment, and we're gonna start with debate 4, which is 1.
Okay, so the reason that I want to strike this, I am all about advertising student government and all about advertising what we do, all about supporting Silver Tap. However, I think especially with Silver Tap, this is not a place to put our stamp as far as this actually being applied to Silver Tap today. It's not about us. It's not about that organization at this point in time. It's about students in the past, students that we're trying to honor. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's almost not quite and almost inappropriate to try to stand a logo on it. That's
Senator Flores, that's actually just as Senator Walden presented. I need people that know people are now being honored with Silver Tap. So I would personally tell you that your family would see this probably like an insult. I was trying to take advantage of something that's of that magnitude for family. So I would honestly, in my honest opinion, I would try to stay away from that. Either from us or Silver Tap. I see that as completely respectful. And with that, I would go with,
I really hadn't thought into this before, but I really love the idea of taking that off there because it's an Aggie thing. It's not that shit thing. So with that, I will. We discussed this kind of extensively in the meeting when we were discussing the bill general, and we decided that it was that I really need to bring awareness to these unifying events without any kind of bias or input that's in one group. Advertising is great, and we can do it as often as possible, but as Walter said, this is the time and the place. We're doing an amendment committee, we can feel out at the time to make an amendment, we investigate all the input of y'all here on the board, and so it's passive. Okay.
The reason I included this in the bill is not because I think that we need to use these ceremonies as an advertisement to the Government Association. It's not because I think that we need to stamp SGA on the Aggie mustard or anything like that or Silver Tap. But the simple reason is we need to try and take a little bit of credit for what we do. So, a lot of times you ask people, what is SGA? They say, they have a bunch of kids that do big events. We put our logo on big events. We put our logo on a lot of other things. I'm not going to be hard for those things in the past, but I think it's important for us to raise awareness of the things that we're doing. It's part of branding ourselves, and that's that. I don't think that it's necessarily infringing on Silver Tap or anything like that, or anything affected is smaller that.
Debate 4. Okay, so the other reason I'm stepping down on this particular committee is because this is something that.
Point of order. You can't be up as here scope for also.
Yeah, the next point of order, Madam Speaker. According to the bylaws, the next in line is the chair of the smallest committee.
Yes, so that would be
That's, G.
Okay. Okay. So, and you're gonna leave all the way to. Okay, so the reason why I'm stepping down is because it's something that we really want to take seriously. I know it's hard to take seriously. I think we can all recognize the fact that silver tax is something that's important to us on a universal level. And although Traditions Council, which is an organization within the government, is in charge of putting on silver taps, if you notice, anytime that they display silver taps, their logo is on any of the materials. And so I think us something that needs to be respectful and something that we shouldn't be getting advertising out of it. And I think it's something that we should be doing on the basis of it being something that's good motive for those who have passed away in our community, and not something that we can use as tools to represent ourselves, whether that's a positive or negative. I do believe that there are good intentions behind things on there. Because city government is basically saying, hey guys, we're doing something good and this is an innovation that we're deciding on. But I think that because it's a somber thing that has been respected for many, many years, and something that we want to push in the future, I think that we should just allow the credit to be given to the fact that we were actually going to be there standing on that night in the first place, and not to ourselves on the website. And with that being said, they go ahead and
All in favor of moving the previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All against, please say nay. I declare that passes. So we will move into voting. So, all in favor of voting yea for the amendment to be moved, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Nay. Okay. So debate on the amendment.
Mr. Speaker, this amendment corrects the title for Jeff Claybrook in this mentioned from SGA Director of Communications to Communications Executive Vice President. Just get our speeches and IVs done.
All right, so all in favor of putting this amendment?
point of order.
Okay, so we're going to move into hearing the amendment. So all in favor of?
I have a motion. I move to limit the period of debate to 2 seconds.
Second, all in favor of moving to 2 seconds for debate, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. All right, that passes. So debate 4. Chair Walker.
Yes.
We're going into debate against. So I saw on the first.
Yes. No.
Did you go through time? Right. All right.
That was out of order. Senator Santo was debating against, and he gave an affirmative debate. He said no, I heard it.
Hey guys, the speaker is G, so let's see if
All right, so Chair Felder, moving to this question. All in favor of moving to this question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. I declare that passes. All right, so now we're going to move into voting on the amendment to the amendment. So with that, right, okay, so now we're going to vote for this amendment to the amendment. So all in favor of passing the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
All right, that passes. Okay, so now we're going to, all right, more minutes. All right, we're going to move into debate against, starting with Chair Walker.
I yield the floor.
Point of
All right,
information,
so-
Mr. Speaker. Are we on debate on the amendment presented by Chair
Yeah, just
Mitchell?
the amendment.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so debate 4. All right. So let's do that one-sided. Okay, so now we're going to move into voting on the bill. On the amendment to the bill. Excuse me, guys. Now we bear with me.
Stand and state your name, caucus.
Yeah, guys, please stay in order. I'm not the chair, but please. This is the amendment that Chair Walters brought up. Oh, it's Aaron, sorry. Yeah.
So, there's that, and then what's highlighted?
What is the amendment that?
Yeah, all right, guys, stay in order, please, stop talking. This amendment changes, but changes from Howdy, from email to Howdy. Yeah. All right. All right, so we're voting on the amendment now. So all in favor of passing this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously. Okay, now we're getting to debate on the bill. So we're going all against the bill. Yeah.
I yield the floor. Oh, no, I yield for your question.
Previous question from Paul. Second.
Point of order, the motion of the previous question was already.
Okay. So all in favor?
Point of order, if we haven't had to recognize debate 4, then we haven't moved on.
Right, that's why we're back on the table.
Great bill, you should vote for it. I mean, previous question.
Second, question A. Second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Great, that passes unanimously. So now we're going to be voting on the bill. So all in favor of passing this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. That passes unanimously.
Let me give Gia a hand. That was fun. Okay, so we're gonna move on to SB 5718, visual impairment aid bill. So the bill officer, please come forward. You have 10 minutes beginning to act.
All right, well, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
As Ken was able to talk a little bit about this before, this is the visual impairment aid bill. And I kind of want, for the presentation, kind of want to run y'all through kind of how this happened. Ken was a personal friend of mine, and she approached me. I mean, I think it's a really good example of how citizen works in my life. Caitlin actually approached me, and she said, Joseph, there's an issue on campus. As a student with a visual impairment on campus, I have difficulty navigating. And this is a way, this viable way where we can do that. Her suggestion was to add wind chimes in areas on campus where it's difficult for people visual, or students and staff, for that matter, with visual impairments to navigate. And Caitlin can expound on that a bit more if you want. But I think this is a fantastic bill. We worked really closely. We talked with Disability Services. We talked with Paul Kruger, VP career, he really helped as well on the exec side. We really collaborated together on multiple fronts on this. And so, I mean, the bill's pretty straightforward. There's also, it's getting locations where there are difficulties for visual impaired students. There's also something to add, parking zones along the north end of Military Walk because there's no curve in it, so you can't really tell where the curve can be. So that's another thing. And also there, I believe, in Peterson building, there's no right way. So we added that to the building as well. So we would like that.
So as far as some of the things that we added in, notice it's not the wing time bill. It expounds a little bit on a few of the things that students with visual impairments need as far as decisions in navigating Kansas. We actually talked about this committee. We thought about changing like Peterson building, for instance, to the idea of buildings without braille plating outside classrooms. Then we decided we actually have identified a problem in Peterson building, so we started addressing that issue. And as potential issues come up, Senator Young checked in Bush School just to make sure doing their duty as a service to the students. And so that's the reason for the specificity as far as that clause goes. This is a great opportunity for this body to look good and feel about itself, really get in touch with our roots, serving students. I'm ecstatic that Caitlin and some other members of the community were able to meet with myself, Joseph, and Colin, as well as the Colin's team members, to discuss this issue and do it appropriately. So I'm real excited about this. I don't think too many people are going to apply this on this, but any questions?
Chair Solomon, Academic Affairs, Commissioner. I assume the wind chime, this is for Senator Hood, I assume the wind chimes are different pitches. Have you looked into maybe at a News to Get conference, having an orientation program for students who are taking advantage of the system, where did you look?
No, I have not.
Actually, at Minnesota conferences for people with disabilities, someone who's developing disability services, they have different options they can do orientation of campus. That's definitely something I think I, someone else, think that's a great idea. It definitely should be incorporated almost seamlessly into that aspect of the NFC that most people without disabilities don't know about. Are there,
Your apologies, scientist. I completely agree with this, man. My question is like, if with wind chimes or anything that we make, if there's any destruction to them, God forbid, or anything bad happens, who covers the charges? I'm sorry for my lack of knowledge. If we make this, then is that are we responsible for these disasters or no?
Okay, so as far and this is sort of coming out of left field a little bit because I'm not an expert. However, as far as I know, when an issue is identified as far as the Americans with Disabilities Act goes, there's something called reasonable. It's essentially a reasonable accommodation in the sense that if an issue is identified, the body responsible, which would in this case be the University of Disability Services, is then responsible for accommodating the needs of students with, in this case, visual impairments and the word don't have each other. So this is something that should, and again, take it to the grain of salt, and I'm not a legal expert, but it should fall under that
Future Governor Abbott. Have these times been used anywhere else?
Caitlin told me two places specifically where they had to use. One is with the guide dog school with Lunar, and the other is actually at their apartment complex.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. And we will move into the period of debate. I will start with recognition for today's event. Is there any debate event? Seeing none, debate is on Friday. We will move into the period of debate. All in favor of passing SB 6718, the visual impairment aid bill, please say aye. Aye. All those who say nay. That passes. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the SB 6762, Replant bylaw of the bill of building and board of primary. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Unfortunately, my phone parts are here. So I've explained this bill before. It's fairly cut and dry. It's just changing the Replant statement to accommodate for the road and the things that committee have experienced since the original mission statement was written. You want to scroll so you can read it. So it's up there in an active one. Strike is the original statement. It's pretty self-explanatory. We really need to pass this. Replant just needs that consistency, especially whenever we're talking to people outside of government who want to know what they do and what they're about. So this really needs to be updated and passed so we can, show that we're making an effort with our community. Any questions with your thoughts? We'll move into the period of voting. Are you debating votes? Are there any debate against? Your vote. I didn't do it. Okay, so we need to start voting. Okay, so my amendment strikes that second line and point C as the primary charge. Utilization of student fees will be constrained to the primary charge and will be limited to $2. Okay, then that. Okay, all in favor of moving forward with the amendment, please say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so that. All in favor of moving forward with the amendment, please stand. Okay, please stand. Okay, so one, please stay in order. And so if there's any confusion, we're striking this first clause right here and then rephrasing it into what the second says. So if you're in favor of doing that.
Point of personal preference, Madam
Yes.
Speaker. Could you read that off again, please?
Yes, it is. Replant is an environmental service organization that strives to improve the greater community and bring people together in tradition, community, and selfless service by providing an avenue for environmental service through the annual campaign and
Voting on the other amendment for section C.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Point of privilege, Madam Speaker. Could
Okay.
the amendment be highlighted?
Yes, okay, so we are voting to actually hear them, and we're not voting on the amendment. That makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and highlight this real quick, so everyone can see it, and we're gonna move forward with the count. So you can sit and enjoy your sitting time. Please stay in order. Okay, so we're voting on whether or not to hear the amendment. Now that it's been highlighted, if you are in favor of hearing this amendment, please stand because division is called. Okay, so does everybody understand? Got it. All right.
Okay, please, if you are not in favor of creating this amendment, please stand. That passed. So we are going to do. So, and we're going to move to debate for the amendment. So, yeah. So the amendment has been heard, so you are recognizing. Well, Howdy, Senate. We really need to pass this amendment for multiple reasons. First of all, this portion that's been struck, that was added during the committee. That's not something Replant wanted, and it's completely unnecessary. It sets a precedent for micromanagement of the committees that, quite honestly, is offensive to them. Also, I know a big concern were the allocation of student fees. Well, it's up to the Senate to make sure those student fees are allocated correctly. I'm not going to blame Replant for asking for them. That's their job. It's their job to take care of this committee. So if anyone's at fault for giving them money they don't think is appropriate, then it's Senate. And that's why it's up to us to elect people we think are competent enough to achieve that. So with that, I yield to Procedural.
Okay, Speaker Pro to the board, Brandon Klingman. I am very much in favor of this because of the word that you said, and that is micromanagement. The main problem that we have with government all over the place is they start overstepping their boundaries and they start doing things that is not their place to do, and this is one of them. This is going to take us down a dangerous path of going and redefining people, saying what they can and can't do beyond what we should be doing. Can we do it? Yes. Should we? No. Like she said, we need the allocations. That's our job. We can do that. But from there, it's their money. Let's let them do what they want to with it. Let's let them make their own mission statement. This is their organization. We should not be telling them every little last thing to do. With that, I will yield to Chair Ball.
Okay, I'm just going to correct this just a little bit. As far as one of the main arguments for here is the fact that money outside of the community is not good for students. I think it's for every single person who participates in this project as a member of the Replant is giving back to another community member, embracing the Aggie spirit of camaraderie community, and I think that they themselves get benefit out of this. And I think this is an important program. There's no need for us to web it or constrain somebody. Let them spread their wings and fly, if you will. With that, I will yield the floor.
Yes, our liberal arts. So, bear with me here. 2 years ago, we heard we want to do this really cool backstop project, but we're not going to ask for student fees. Then they asked for student fees. Then a year ago, they were like, we want to go to this really cool backstop thing, and we only need a little bit of student fees. They asked for student fees again. Now they're down here saying, we want you to change our mission statement so that we can be a more inclusive thing. But we don't want to go spend money in Bastrop because we're not going to request student fees. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, I don't know what the heck is going on. This is absolutely ridiculous. If Replant isn't going to request money, then this amendment is A-OK. Utilization of student fees shall be constrained to the primary charge and shall be limited to Brazos County. Look, I'm not up here to make a great argument for Replant. I don't think it ought to exist. Bonfire doesn't exist anymore. So it's not Replant, it's just plant. You can't re something that wasn't done. So the problem here is that it's not micromanaging the committees any more than the House of Representatives micromanages Lois Lerner and the IRS. Any more than the House of Representatives micromanages the EPA when they want to act outside of their mission charge, when they want to pass new regulations. This is a new regulation. This is spending more tax money. This is spending student fee money. It's a direct parallel. To say that, oh, I'm for limited government. No, you're in favor of no government if you want to do this. If you want to just completely say, Replant, we have no oversight. Whatever you want to do, we just want to be a cheerleader on the sideline. We're not here to support Replant. We're here to support and represent the student body of Texas A&M. You don't do that by throwing
throwing away their dollars in a little hole in the ground in Bastrop. And with that, I yield to Chair Sonka.
Chair Sonka, Academic Affairs. I rise to refute a couple of the arguments that Senator before have made, and those come from personal experience. I'm all for Aggies going out in the community and serving. That's what we're all about. But the fact that we're going to charge someone who goes here money to better Bastrop is contrary to many programs that exist out there, such as alternate spring break with Habitat for Humanity, where you raise your own money. Contrary to what we've done tonight, where we have Fish Aid show little initiative. We're not prohibiting a replant from raising their own money to go to Bastrop. We're just saying if you're going to use our money, spend it in this county. And with that, I yield to Senator Miller.
And now we're going to move into a period of debate 4
If Senate doesn't want to give Replant money to go plant trees in Bastrop, that's okay. That's your right as Senate to deny them that money. Nowhere in this bill, nowhere in these changes is money allocated to Replant. Senators are using hyperbole and fear tactics to make you think that we're going to give a timeline to Replant and let them do whatever they want. That is not what we're doing right now. We are just restricting some of the, I guess, muscle that Senate is trying to flex on Replant because we think we can, and we think that kicking a puppy when it's already down is okay. We need to stop doing that, Senate. We need to stop doing that. Not anymore. We need to do this for Replant. We need to show them that we can be leaders and that we can work together, because as far as I've seen in this body, we're not very good at that.
Point of order.
That's actually out of order. So that's out of order, so then we actually that incorrectly decided that debate again.
Howdy, Senator Marinoff, engineering.
Regarding the point we made about micromanagement, this is not micromanagement. We're not telling them, okay, yes, this dollar here, this dollar there. We're not telling them you gotta put this event, you gotta put that event. No. We have the authority to change this. They shouldn't be using skin fees to go do something that they want to go to the main for. And if they want to go do something with skin fees that they want to go to the main for, they should just leave that. So.
Even you before?
No.
Okay.
Chair Mitchell, rules and regulations, guys. Okay, this argument has been made that Senate allocates money to Replant, so we don't have to give it to them. But Senate allocates money so that the committees can fulfill their mission statements. Okay, so if we have something here that says that it's just an environmental service organization, isn't contrary to Brazos County, we need to put something in there that says you cannot spend money outside of Brazos County because it's not something that benefits our community. You could argue that it's something that benefits the students in Replant, but it's really not necessary for us to be giving them money outside of Brazos County. And quite simply, the argument that Senate allocates money is invalid because Senate allocates money so that the committees can fulfill the mission statement. For that, I yield to Senator Campbell.
I'll do it.
You got 30 seconds.
We got Senate Campbell off campus. This is coming from Aggie Replant's website. In 1990, Scott Hearn, the chair of the Environmental Issues Committee, came up with the idea of Replant to help counteract the effects of the annual bonfire on the environment. That was the purpose of Aggie Replant. That purpose is no longer there. I think it's a great organization still.
Yeah.
However,
Okay. Bonfire as a student organization is sponsored by the university no longer exists. However, Bonfire is still an organization that is less.
one of the things, Madam Speaker, is that Aggie bonfire or the Spirit bonfire?
Student Bonfire is the option.
Point of order, Madam Speaker, was Senator Cheshire recognized before the vote?
I didn't really think it was, but I appreciate it. Please be in order. To finish your question. This bonfire, its capacity that it existed in the 90s exists now. However, does an organization that happens to build a bonfire within Bryan College Station that isn't supported by the university exist? Yes. Thanks. Yes.
Is that bonfire on the street?
That bonfire is entirely made up. All right.
So, continuing on with that,
You got 20 seconds.
okay, so even better reason to plant trees in Bryan College Station, not in Bastrop. Students, I understand it may benefit student image. However, that's stretching it. That's trying to be happy-go-lucky. It's trying to be too nice.
5 seconds.
It makes no sense. And I moved to the previous question.
Moving to the previous question, the motion has been made. There are multiple seconds. All in favor of the previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay. Vision.
Right, all in favor of the previous question, please stand. It's required that the vote is passed. 1, 2, 3. All right, 6 minutes. All begin. Please stand. Stop. All right. Okay, so previous question has been moved and we're now back. Okay, so now we're moving into, okay, so we are on debate for this particular amendment. So, sorry? Oh, yeah, sorry. Great. No, okay, so we're moving into a period of voting on this particular amendment. Please stay in order for the civilian time. Yeah. Okay. So we're voting on the amendment. All in favor of approving this amendment to the bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Okay. So now the bill. Okay. So now we're on debate for the bill. We're on debate against your fellow.
This honorable remarks, Madam Speaker, I move to amend this bill, and it's not necessary that I amend it in writing, and I wish to strike the words, there is established an executive branch committee on the Replant. I'm striking everything after statutory establishment.
Okay.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything, and therefore let it be enacted one. No, yeah, there you go.
Is there a second to hear this amendment?
Really?
Are there, please stay in order. This is ridiculous, y'all. It's not just willy-nilly, I do whatever the heck I want. It's, we're still following the rules, and that's what I would appreciate if you did. Okay, so there was a second. All in favor of hearing this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
I just wanted to quit micromanaging.
Okay, so, we're gonna move back to debate on the bill. We're still on debate against Chair Cheshire, Senator Cheshire, you still have the floor.
I don't think anybody should vote for Plant, but if you do, it's better with his primary charge in it. I yield. I move for your question.
Previous question, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, that is correct. So we're gonna move into debate for the bill, and I'm gonna go with Senator.
Senator Miller on campus. So I think kind of the big issue here, as far as Replant goes, how they'll be how their money will be allocated and used. It's become apparent that their big project is kind of going down the Bastrop and planting the trees that were burned down there several years ago. Which is a great project. I think that's a great idea. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily benefit Texas A&M student body directly. So this is an issue that came up during the presentation in our allocation bill on the finance committee. And that's kind of why I think the previous amendment was, I guess, unnecessary. Because really, as far as allocation goes, they're only allocated so much money to benefit the students in ways that are,
they're only allowed to use the money we give them allocated wise to benefit students anyway. So by having something that's segmentally used, it drives the county a little overkill in my opinion. I think the bill is good because they deserve the chance to redefine their mission statement. If they want to put in their mission statement, if they just want to go Brazos County is one of their things, that's fine. That's an issue that comes up in the finance committee saying, well, that's great, that's your mission statement, we support that entirely. Unfortunately, we can't give you any allocation for that because that's out of our reach of student fees. So with that, I yield to Speaker Builder.
But we need to pass this bill. Organizations, yes, they're made for certain purposes sometimes, or all the time, but they're made for certain purposes. But we should support them whenever they grow and they branch out. And this is what we're doing right now. We need to support a stronger SGA, and a stronger replant means a stronger SGA. So guys, please vote in favor of this bill. I'm in the previous question. The most previous question has been made. There are multiple seconds. All in favor of the previous question. Say aye. Aye. Say nay.
Nay.
All right, so we're going to move into a period of voting on the bill. Please stay in order. Period of voting on the bill. All in favor of passing SB 5716 Replant bylaw revision bill, please say aye. Aye. Say nay.
Nay.
Okay, so now we're going to move into a period of new business. The chair would like to remind the body that this is the first reading of the bill and the bill will be sent to committee. So, yes.
Restrict the period of presentations on all bills and new business.
Okay, the motion to restrict the period of presentation of all bills and new business 30 seconds has been made. There are multiple seconds. All in favor of restricting the period of new presentation for bills to 30 seconds, please say aye. Aye. Please say nay.
Nay.
That's it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with new business. We'll start with the let us choose our laptop bill. The bill presenter, please come forward.
Madam Speaker, I move to refer this bill to Student Services Committee.
A motion to refer this bill to the Student Services Committee has been made. Is there a second? Yes. All in favor of moving this bill to the Student Services Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
I would personally consider that. But anyway, continue. So, continue with your side. Howdy.
Howdy.
Okay, we'll be brief, not 30 seconds but brief.
This is the legislature laptop bill. It's in response to something that's part of the 25 by 25 initiative where all new incoming freshman students are required to purchase one of two specified laptop configurations in the College of Engineering. Okay, your two options are the Dell Latitude for $1,400 or an Apple MacBook Pro that you have to run Windows on for $1,700. The main points of the game basically says these are quite expensive laptop packages. They're really not necessary to do your engineering work, especially given that students in the College of Engineering pay extra tuition to go to things like really nice laptop computer labs. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I've made it through my collegiate career with my laptop, which is not maybe half the price of those two. Any heavy lifting you need to do as far as computations, you can do in a computer lab, which you already paid extra for, and exceed
Okay, so we're going to do 3 questions.
Thank you, Governor Abbott. Are they required to buy this computer, or are they recommended to buy this computer?
For the incoming class of fall 2014, they made an exception for students that had already purchased laptops for college before this came out, but it says clearly that fall 2015 students are required. There's a small language that says will be blocked for pending if you can't afford them, but they don't suggest what to do if you can. So yes, you're required. Incoming freshmen starting fall 2015.
Senator Mayor.
Howdy, Senator Marinoff, Engineering. Where is the requirement stated?
Speaker Pro Tem has received links.
Yeah. The College of Engineering put it out on their website. They also put it out on their Facebook page, read some of the comments. Not popular among the old ads, the current ads, future ads.
Here you'll find the requirement from engineering.kmu.edu. And you'll see, here it says recommends. If you scroll down, you will see where it's required for subsequent classes.
Permission to follow up, Master.
Yeah.
Have you all discussed this with Dr. Banks?
No, we've been having a little bit of a communication block. I've gone to Dr. Valerie Taylor. And she's declined requests both for meeting with me as academic affairs chair and as a reporter individual. So I'll be trying to meet with Dr. Banks.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions for the both of us? Is it Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm not.
Senator Lang off my list. So how will the administration supposed to enforce this, optional?
There's no literature on how they would enforce it. Simply assume that you just handle any other requirement. And how they enforce anything.
All right, Senator Houston.
Ian Houston, Southwest Senator. Just a question, do you know why they put this into effect?
We are going to look into the financial benefit the university might gain through a deal with Stellar
Justification is that this sort of standardizes, but obviously, even if someone is running some kind of strange, like Linux configuration on their dorm room, you can always use a computer lab computer to work on group project or anything like that. So I don't see any for it.
Madam Speaker, I move to refer this bill to the active affairs committee.
Motion to refer the bill to the active affairs
Point
committee.
of order, Madam Speaker. I was recognized before he made his motion.
That is correct. So, would you like to speak?
Have y'all looked into whether that's legal under academic rules or state law?
I believe that since
Hey, stay in order.
they will not block you from
Sit down.
attending the university, it would not be considered discriminatory policy.
I think it's legal, yes, have policies.
Yeah. Requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to, I'm going to make a motion myself. I make a motion to approve the active affairs committee. I hope it's like it's all in favor to approve the active affairs committee. Please say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Thank you. Okay, that's good. Yay. The chair would like to remind everybody that many of you are asking questions that you should be asking on the second reading of the bill and not the first. Or if you're going to agree me to attend the committee meeting, so you can ask questions. Although some of these questions are good for right now, for this introductory period, many of them are stuff that we really need to only go to the committee. So to be efficient as possible, so that we're here to do, please keep that in mind. All right, so now we're going to move to the student conduct records access bill and
Over here.
Yeah, let's do Howdy, Senate. I know most of you are outstanding students and have never had to deal with a student conduct service hearing. It's been brought to my attention that there are several sort of deficiencies in that process. And so this is a bill to remedy those deficiencies. And Senator Young and I looked into student rules 24, 26, and 27, which govern these, as well as interviewed students who had gone through the process to figure out their complaints and talk to administrators who represent the status quo to come up with this bill. And so this bill would, currently as it stands, if you were charged of violating a student rule, you receive a secure communication link to your email from which you access a PDF, basically explaining that you've been charged and what date to appear, but it doesn't detail the charges. So then you have to go to Kane Hall and you are given a copy of the charges and the complaint, but you're not allowed to take a picture of it or make a copy or retain any record of that. And so both Senator Young and I believe that hampers the students' ability to defend themselves adequately in the hearing, which can have consequences up to and including expulsion from the university and loss of scholarships, which is why we want to make sure our students have the rights that they need and the process for it. Moreover, I mean, say you look at your thing, and you have no record of it, you think of a great argument, and you want to look at the complaint, but the case hall is closed, you only get 3 days to do it. So what this bill would do was when they send you the notice of complaint, in that PDF, it would have another PDF with your file in it. And since they're trusting your email to be secure enough to inform you of the substantive proceedings against you, they should also send you the file and allow you to retain pictures of your file to your records. And secondly, this bill will also give you access to the university's recordings of the hearing, which currently they don't give you access to. So they record it. You're not allowed to record it, or that's another rule that you broke, and you're not allowed to get access to the recording. So just to make sure you got access to everything but the deliberations regarding your case. And it's just your record to have access. And with that, we'll move through.
Add a motion to the first
Motion to refer this bill to the student committee, the multiple times, all in favor of moving the bill to the student committee, say aye.
Nay.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the student contact representation bill, also get the same bill, office of Tuesday.
All right, howdy again, Senate. These bills are a part of a student hearing update. We're kind of doing it piecemeal because we want to really make sure that we research each individual thing. But this one remedies another twofold deficiency in the student conduct hearing process. The first of which is if you are a victim of an alleged sexual assault on campus, you are not allowed to have an attorney represent you, even though you're allowed to have an advisor represent you. And so you can't have an attorney if there's a pending criminal case, but technically the university is allowed to make policies that are enhanced compared to the criminal codes of the United States and expect better conduct. And we shall expect better conduct from our fellow Abbeys. I want to extend this protection to victims of alleged sexual assaults, where they can retain an attorney to represent themselves, deem that some sort of fumbling by a non-attorney of the process could hamper their remedies under the process.
It's to make it clear, so normally you get an advocate if you are accused of breaking the rule, so those are, I guess, like, the defendants make it clear if you are, I guess, the plaintiff in the case of the sex, yes, so survivor of sexual assault, that's when you sort of, as the one filing a complaint, get an attorney.
Right, and so this would extend this, the second part of this extends the same protection to the accused, which I think is only fair. Senator Young brought up a good point when we were talking about it, that if you're not allowed to hire an attorney and they're telling you to hire an advisor, you might be getting ripped off by hiring someone who's not really competent. Moreover, for example, my mom is an attorney. I would be barred from using her as my advisor. It seems like a pretty arbitrary rule, and in discussion with the administration, they don't have a good reason for that.
I think it's sort of just trying to protect them from having anyone too savvy, which is kind of at the expense, I think, of student benefit.
Are there any questions? Oh, yeah.
Yes, Chair Mitchell, I have a motion to refer this to in terms of.
Okay, all in favor of moving to the end of committee, yes.
Nay.
Okay, so now we're on the dispatch phone number bill, so if you are bill officer, please come forward, you have 10 minutes.
Hi, Senate. So, I've heard that a lot of people don't know that, transportation services has a dispatch line that, you can use to call when somebody's in violation of parking. However, that dispatch line also offers, services to students that help them with stranded on campus, data, jump start, emergency gallon gas, or something like that. They also offer pizza. And I discussed it with the customer service assistant, and she said that they would be okay with sending the number put on the back of the student ID, and that's what she's
Are there any questions for them? Yes.
services are including student, student bill, student fees, or is it?
They come as part of the. So.
Okay, are there any other questions for me? Seeing none, I return this bill to the. All right, so next we're going to move on to the Admissions Qualification Fairness Act. So, don't forget about the minutes.
All right, Howdy said, you may or may not agree, but the number of students in the admissions office is laying up is training the university. Frankly, if you went to prep grad school and ended up being top 10% of your class, I mean, you're basically letting people that aren't really qualified to study here, which is why too often the professors put it on with engineering students that fail, and I'm sure it happens in other colleges. And it's basically is an act that would allow the legislative to allow you
Questions? Sure. Motion to move this bill to the academic affairs committee has been made. Using that, we're gonna, all in favor of moving this to the academic affairs committee, please say aye. Aye. Please say nay.
Point of information.
Yes.
Did that bill not have gone to legislative affairs?
That is, that's actually at the discretion of the chair where they go. However, anybody could make a
No, I have a motion actually to reconsider. I'll reconsider it on the minute.
All right.
Point of information, Madam Speaker. Did the chair vote for the motion or against the motion?
I move what you just said.
Okay, so the chair didn't vote period because
Chair Mitchell.
Okay, no, so what he's talking about is we're going to reopen that vote and this essentially is going to go to the committee. Is that correct?
Yes, we would be reopening the vote and that's
Point of order, Madam Speaker. If Chair Mitchell voted against the motion to move to the Academic Affairs Committee, then he was out of order because under Robert's rules of order. Okay. Thank you.
okay. And so we would be voting not to send it to academic affairs and somebody else voted.
Point of information, Madam Speaker, is this issue not rule and nature as part of that?
The bill itself does have some gray line on both. One, it deals with the academic process and the way that we handle admissions at Texas A&M. However, it also has the purpose of that being lobbied for. The chair would like to remind the body that we can pass a bill and our team can still go lobby for it without being in the legislative affairs committee. So, do you have a point?
Point of information, Madam Speaker, is Texas A&M University currently at liberty to decide what percentage of students, as far as class rank, it is able to accept.
Yes. Do you have another one? Yes.
Point of information. Would you like to reconsider your answer to that?
Okay, so that's I'm saying. Okay, so here's the first. So I'm going to explain this. So top 10% rule. That's what we're talking about. So Texas A&M has to follow the rules of the top 10% rule. However, as far as based on academic rules, we have every right to decide who's on 10 and who doesn't. So I was one of them. So you want to argue with me? Pick it up with 4 years. So this is all bill. We're talking about the bill being in academic affairs committee and legislative affairs committee. Personally, as the chair of the organization, I don't give a flying suit on which one to go to because they're going to come with the same person. So, would you like to continue? To reconsider, yes. Okay, so is there a second to reconsider? All in favor of reconsidering the vote, please say aye.
Point of order is it requires a second.
Okay.
Now you're now.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So if the body would remain in order, we are going to take a vote as far as whether or not.
I move to point of order.
Yes.
Chair's on academic affairs, a.
Please stay in order. I've said it
motion-
at least 15 times, people. It's ridiculous. Are we adults or do we? Okay, continue.
A motion to reconsider requires a majority vote as per
Okay, as far as rules and regulations here goes. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to make a motion to send this bill to the legislative affairs committee.
Point of order, Madam Speaker, the motion, the motion made by Chair Mitchell was not withdrawn or voted on. Therefore, we do need to reconsider the vote.
Okay, so everybody sit down. First of all, this is my job to conduct the meeting, and he makes an interpretation of the ruling, not do that. So if you wanted to run for the spot, you could have, but this is ridiculous. So stop. Okay, go ahead.
Point of order, we are voting on the motion to send it to the academic affairs. It's a revote. That's just the revote on that, because others want to send it to the legislative, whatever that is.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. So we're going to move to the vote. All in favor of sending this to the academic affairs committee, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
Okay, perfect. The chair would like to entertain a motion to send this bill to the legislative affairs committee. All in favor of moving this to the legislative affairs committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Please say nay. All right, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to move into a period of open session. Are there any bills for open session? You have a bill for open session. Can you please state the title of the bill and a brief description? Okay, so if we can have that, go ahead. And there are seconds to the bill. And the second case rate. If you'd like to come down, you got 10 minutes.
President? Real quick, this is Bill from the Student Services Committee. Basically, what we're requesting is crosswalks put in between St. Campus Sports Center and where Spence Park is. Right now, there's one on Coke Street between the quad and the Sports Center, but not the other half of that same side of the street. People come flying out of the parking garage, come flying down the street all the time to the blind corner. It's heavily trafficked like this every day, especially on game days when all the games are happening. There's a lot of people go there, and we do issues safety. So, thank you.
Are there any questions at all? Seeing that, I'm going to go ahead and refer this to Steve Kirby. Are there any more bills for open session? Senator Brown, you can please take the title of your bill and a brief description.
Brief description is for a kind of to ensure that the maximum amount of qualified candidates are able to represent.
Okay, so you're second to Mr. Phillips. All right, you have 2 minutes.
I'll Keith Brown, last year's already president, he's now with the executive. We decided that when we're looking at historical election results with the on-campus community, that in general, the representation wasn't always there. In the bill, Johnny football was not only written in, but actually due to the Senate rules would have been election to the Senate if he had lived at the University Department, unfortunately, or else he would have stayed and not left the students. So we're trying to maximize the amount of students that we're able to make an impact in the Senate. Last year, we think we had about 6 candidates from Southside, only 1 from the University Department, and 2 or 3 from Northside. We want to make sure that we can get people who want to be here, who want to represent the students on campus. And this would also kind of ease in the West Campus Department, if they decide to go and get Senate seats. They can just lump it into one big old on-campus caucus. You don't see off-campus caucus split in the North Gate, East Gate, South Gate, and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it. And that's all you can say.
Howdy, Senator Marinoff, Engineering. So you're combining, if I get this right, you're combining the University Apartments caucus with the offside
We're
can't.
combining all on campus policies.
Oh.
Outside, outside, outside.
Okay.
North side, south side, and university department, each have 2 seats. It would be the on-campus caucus.
With no individual caucus having more than 50.
Permission to follow up.
Chair Mitchell, I was already, so, yeah. A motion to refer this bill to the Rules and Regulations Committee as made and seconded. Yes, all in favor of moving this bill to the Rules and Regulations Committee, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. That's fine. Okay, so are there any more bills for open session?
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Do we have a quorum?
From visual, you definitely have. Yes. Yes. Please stay in order. Yes. A motion to close open session has now been made. But it requires a 1-6-second. Yeah, we definitely have it.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right, so we're going to move into a period of committee report. I'm just going to go down the line if you don't want to recommend it. So we'll start with Chair Wall.
Chair Walter, Student Services. I do have a few comments about this meeting today. I think we started off very rough. I think certain senators who are not in the room right now, especially considering that they later argued about the integrity of student government, were failing to demonstrate that in a forum. I think that the integrity, or rather the legitimacy of this body is always at stake, and we behave in manners that we should behave. We lose that legitimacy. We're sort of hanging by a thread as it is. I have a feeling that a few of the bills that we passed through tonight aren't going to have any weight or merit because no one really cares about what we have to say, because we fail time and time again to represent interests of students. Of course, that's an opinion of mine. However, I'm very strong in believing that. As far as that replant bill goes, a few things are kind of left in the air. As far as replant goes, as far as the organization goes, as far as the living being goes, adaptation and evolution to the changing environment is crucial to survival. So to say that because they are not the same as they were when they started, they should be no longer is kind of really counterintuitive to anything I've ever learned. There's not a science major, so we have to forgive that. So to say the limited organization because they change their goals and change their mission statement or attention to limited organization that when we talk about benefiting students, it's an organization made of students, it's an organization that represents students, it's an organization that represents this university. So when they go outside of Brazos Valley, they're representing this university. They are members of Replant, they are members of the ag community. So to tell them that no, taking your business, taking your service outside of this community with our money is inappropriate, is not in line with the values of the student body, not in line with the values of the university. That's false. That is a very false mindset. Marketing and advertising is a crucial aspect to any institution, any organization, and that includes the university, that includes our values, whether or not you buy into the new Army concept or not, is considered. As far as the middle of the meeting, I think we actually had a very good debate today. We let the legislative process sort of run its course, which is really positive. I like seeing that. We had positive debate on both for and against on bills that were discussed, and most of it was constructive. So I actually appreciated that. We sort of there at the end lost track again, lost our way. I feel like some senators are just intent on leaving me to not go home and eat and starve and dinner. Not trying to rush the process. Obviously, I'm having my days off there. And as far as the replant bill goes, again, I just want to say that amendment that we left in there, the committee put in there, limited them to spending money within the Brazos Valley. The kind of irony of that is, as long as they were to buy trees within the Brazos Valley, they could take them wherever they wanted to. But along with that, it also limits all of our organizations, or sets the precedence to limit our organizations to only buy within this community to exclude internet sales or huge standard process, companies that are based elsewhere. So it's sort of, we'll talk about micromanaging, it's also when they can't choose where the businesses come from, that sort of applies to that. As far as that goes, thank you all for coming. I want to actually talk about one of the bills, again, sorry. The bills that we made several amendments on was Senator Mitchell's bill, Chairman's bill, the Bill Maroon, was changed to the Howdy page. I know that was sort of long and drawn out, but that was an important process. That's one of the things that rules, Robert's rules, and his body allows us to do, to make edits like that in order to get something through in time and manner. So as far as hanging on for that, I appreciate that. That's all for me. I'll leave with questions.
Okay, all right, so any other questions for? Yeah.
Senator Campbell off campus, are executive reports like personal rant time, or like what is the purpose of it?
However, the new chair is allowed to say whatever they would like. They have 2 minutes to just like the executive. So they can say whatever they want. Yeah. Okay, well, I did. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and give Chair Clarence the report as he is not here.
I have a question.
You have a question? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Senator Walters, what is your committee time?
Oh,
Thank you. I neglected that. Personally, sorry. I'll be meeting this Sunday with my committee at 8 o'clock in Columbus. I think we'll be probably 147. It's the really perfect here. If not, 136. Just keep an eye for it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give the Chair committee report for you to tell you what time they're meeting. So Chair Springer is meeting at 7:30 on Wednesday in Columbus. So you guys, LA, will meet and then go to one of the designated rooms that we have for that time. Just a brief reminder that even if there is no bill in LA, you guys still need to be there unless Chair Springer says that at the end of the meeting. So students in that committee has been lacking, so that needs to change. Otherwise, you'll be losing the seat. So LA is a really, really important committee at this time because it is a Texas legislature is open and running. So move to that. So regardless of whether or not you have a bill, you could still be forming strategies of what you would like to go and speak to our legislators, wonderful people up in Austin about. So remember that you do have a duty to be there. So you should be there. All right. So any questions for Chair Springer? None. Thanks. Okay. So we're going to move to Chair Long.
Chair Sonka, Academic Affairs. I will not be politicizing my committee report. I kind of question the fairness of pulling from the pulpit when the senator's name don't have an opportunity to respond or aren't in the room. But I will be giving you the updates on the things I was elected to focus on. And I would ask the remaining chairs to focus on your specialty, except for the speaker and the pro tem, who I believe are the ones who appropriately comment on some of the things mentioned in the previous report. First of all, I was really satisfied with academic affair attendance at our previous meeting. We had 100% attendance, so that's a good thing. Secondly, I really want to commend Senator Young. When I've been attacking 25 by 25, trying to really make sure something was going to be good for our university, I've been focusing on growth, keeping that at a reasonable level. And the laptop bill we brought up was really an angle I hadn't even focused in on. So I really wanted to be a credit to Senator Young for that, and also challenge the body to investigate what is the biggest growth initiative currently and in recent memory as well, and to try and find things that maybe the administration hasn't considered students properly. Secondly, our meeting this week will be at our normal time, 7:15. We do have a building committee, so we will not be using technological aids for roll call. Anyway, what else is in this? That'll be 7:15, oldest 136 on Wednesday night. With that,
Howdy, Senator Marinov, engineer. Would you be Or rather, are you seeking to put in future bills that would combat many of the things that the College of Engineering is trying to implement through 25 by 25?
Yes, I recently wrote an article in the Good Bowl, which perhaps editor-in-chief Feldman made on the availability of that article. But in that article, I addressed several of the concerns with the 25 by 25 initiative. For example, undergraduate population is expected to grow at 6%, and master's degree enrollment is expected to grow at 15% for the next 9 years, until 11 years. Whereas the city of College Station is growing at 2.1%, and the city of Browning is only growing at 1.5% yearly since 2000. So there's definitely efforts to address every aspect of 25 by 25.
Are there any further questions for Chair Thompson? None, Chair Smith.
Associate first. This is a committee report, not a Senate meeting recap. You have the minutes for that. So CA will not be meeting next week, but we will have taping on Wednesdays, so we've got pretty detail on the time and date for that, and location as well. Questions?
Any questions for Chair Smith? All right, Chair B.
Chair B, Finance. So we will be meeting at 6 o'clock next week. Instead of 7 o'clock, so heads up on that. I'll send out the email. Apart from that, we don't have any bills, but we are going to be talking about the
Are there any questions for Chair B? Chair Thompson. Right now, our meeting next week with CR will be canceled. So use that time wisely and apply well. In regards to the meeting tonight, I'm not going to comment on what happened, but some of the behavior displayed by people here was extremely disappointing. It is your right to say what you believe in your motions and make amendments to bills as you please. That's your right as a senator. Is it the right thing to do to second a motion to remove replant from the code? No. So I'd ask you to contemplate your behavior in that regard. That's it. Are there any questions in regard? None. Minor legal right here.
So, while I acknowledge this, I'm not really trying to do a recap of the meeting. I'm going to do my job because I was to help you guys with rules and stuff like that. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit. We had some things that the beginning were not very efficient. Our open forum, there were some questionable things said that I hope don't end up in the county. And there's that kind of stuff really isn't necessary. A lot of people watching this now, it's not really necessary. Anyway, so moving on. We did get a lot of good debate, so that's something we did do well. We had the opposing sides, what we had with all the rules there. In my opinion, a lot of times we were asking questions that might not be necessary, especially in new business. I might have been a little bit over ambitious on looking 30 seconds, but I would like to go through that a little bit quicker new business in time. Getting, really into the bill. Other than that, guys, I will say as far as the Replant goes, it is our job to outline mission statements for these committees, and I think we did a good job of making that. I wish we could make those whether it was right or not. I think what we did right, but that is our job, that is our focus. So, other than that, the rules and regulations committee will be a week from today at 7.
Are there any questions?
And thank you so much. Now we're going to move into a period of executive report to start with
Howdy.
Howdy.
And I guess to blow this up, happy Halloween. Good meeting. If you don't know, yesterday was the halfway point in our term and session. Essentially, what was for me until April 21st. And so we had a great executive cabinet meeting yesterday. It actually went well over a lot of time. We spent an hour and a half talking about things we were proud of in the first half, and then all agreeing upon wanting to have twice through the second half. And so, very excited about that meeting, excited about several different updates we've got, and I'm going to share with you all. I did want to comment on the Alabama game. I was at the game, believe it or not. I was at the game, not specifically on the game, but traveling home in the airport, I was wearing an A&M shirt, wearing an A&M hat, very proud of it. I got a lot of comments. There's been articles about several different things and sort of bad-mouthing, but I was more proud to wear that Texas A&M shirt home with that football game sometimes than I would be if we had a big win, because I was still wearing it. I'm still very proud of this. I saw all kinds of things posted about our team, about our school. My loyalty and love for this university is not conditioned on a football game or even on the season. There's not a football in your academy. There are so many greater things that this university stands for. And so just wanted to keep that in perspective. I've been all over. This is kind of the season of Aggie Moms. I've been at 5 Aggie Moms clubs, every major city in Texas since past Tuesday. It's been a cool experience, but it's also been really encouraging. Because predominantly, that organization is made up of mothers of freshmen. I've gotten to field a lot of questions that they have and a lot of concerns that they have for their students. It's really that and having Matt Joseph come speak at our meeting 2 weeks ago has encouraged me that we have a tremendous responsibility. I think we've done well up to this point, but I would submit that we need to advocate on behalf of students to the best of our ability beyond that. It's something I feel a tremendous weight. I wake up differently every day. I'm feeling as if I'm on the clock, or my time is to make the best to be serving the students. And so I encourage you guys in that as well. I'm going to have to move more quickly to get specific. So staff presentations right before this meeting. We did not ask for an increase. And this is talking about the $50,000 given to SGA to allocate to commissions, committees, and into the branches. And so gave presentation, and there's not too much more to say about that, but that is something we do fall in spring for that $50,000 allocations about. Wanted to talk about a few bills. You might have discerned the earned ratio of the midterm bill. Jason Wood is taking this to the next faculty senate. And so that's a good thing. I would like to, obviously we've done a great job of working together, and that's very helpful. But if we can start to work with other institutions on campus, like faculty senate, I think we can accomplish a lot of great things. Recreational sports equipment bill. Colin Krieger, Casey Graham will be meeting with Rec Sports next week to discuss the context with the recreation, with the rec staff. The 12-can bylaw bill, because of the name of TAMC, the 12-can, essentially. So Casey Graham is going to be in Brandon Valencia. We're going to schedule the 12-can as well early this next week. Those are a few updates. Bill, one of the organizations on campus, has started up building by Simpson Drill Field. We're doing medical units that can be sent anywhere beyond our community. Strictly had an impact this year, and so they're in need of volunteers. And so, if you are interested, or if you're interested in an organization, something that the exec is going to do, build.tamu.com on the Luke's website. I'm wrong about that. Lone Star Showdown's coming out. That's where not having the UTA rivalry are the championships.
One information of that speaker. The what rivalry?
Excuse me. The TU. We have the championship winners for guys, girls, and teams play each other. And that's cool. It's coming up, and it's put on by our student government. So that's something that we want to be well attended. Student rebid process is going on. Many of you have seen that. I've gotten a lot of questions about it. At the end of this month is the deadline, so we're seeking applicants. If you want to know more about that process, love to share exactly the way that's going to be done. There's really no specifics or stipulations on that. We run the process as we will submit for names that just go to change. We're going to start speaking to organizations. I've gotten some feedback. The people that read the Campus Wide emails are largely people that I know personally. They feel like, yeah, so it's not a problem. I thought we were getting good feedback, and although the update has improved, what we really want to do is make as personal a connection with different parts of campus as possible. So I'm going to begin to speak most nights during the week to different organizations. The idea is going to be just talk a little bit about myself and my team's going to as well, and Senate if you all would like to take part in that. I want to talk about A&M. Every time I speak, I talk about facts about A&M, being the first in Texas, senior military institution, second most high by Wall Street Journal. Just things to pump people up and give them really a sense of gratitude for being Texas A&M. Give them updates about what we're doing, and hopefully hear about what they're doing and how we can help, and then put questions on everything. I think it'd be a very, very positive thing for us to be able to do together. And so that's going to start up between now and the next meeting. I'll give you guys an update on that. Okay, so sadly, Christian Taylor passed away this past Friday. And I don't know a lot of specifics about that. I've talked to a few people that knew him. Only thing I wanted to update you on is that he's not going to be honored this next month because it was right close to the break between months, and his family opted to bring the army. So he will be on that. Lastly, Challenge Works, just a general announcement. Challenge Works. Some of you will remember, and we go out and sell things together. I like that it's in the fall this year rather than the spring. It's on November the 16th to 1 o'clock. I love for everybody to be there. And lastly, I really try hard not to take different sides on things that are presented in the Senate meeting and just to speak generally, although I don't believe it'd be wrong for me to do so. Just with things, for instance, like the Replant bill, what I want you to consider, not specifically to that bill, but because we're at the halfway point, and I can see myself coming back years from now with my family and remembering the 1 year that I had to serve at A&M. I just would question you with the things that we invest our time with here in this meeting and in the 2 weeks that we have until the next. Just not questioning the right or wrong about that specific type thing, but things like that. Are those the type of things that you want to be proudly to accomplish at the end of this, session, at the end of your time to serve Texas A&M? So that goes for anything. To just challenge you all there. I daily remind myself and try to do my thing. Other than that, I've got an exam tomorrow. I hope all of you do well on your midterm, but I'm not ready for it at all. So I'm going to be up all night. Do well on those. God bless you.
Governor Perry, Texas, SEC College. Could you outline maybe 1 or 2 bills that you think sail through here that we ought to look at, that we ought to consider?
That's a great question, Senator Shepard. Thank you so much. There's a lot of really good ideas. What ran on that idea of having big issues, those big issues seem to be more controversial and more difficult, and small issues that are incremental changes around campus. Off the top of my head, there's several things I'd like to advocate for. There's resolutions that we want to be passed, but like first thing that comes to mind, funny enough, is a train on campus. The reason I say that, I personally think it's a fantastic idea. I know I've mentioned it to several of you. Really, I love Texas A&M, but we had overwhelmingly transportation as an issue. And so everyone knows transportation is an issue, but here's what I would like to see from us, is creative solutions to some of the problems that we already know exist on campus. So I give a train as an example. That was originally part of Vision 2020. It is now currently not. But things like that, I'm not going to go into the whole thing about trains, but I think it's a really good, innovative idea. Things like that are creative. And there's smaller things around campus as well. But that's a fantastic question. I really do. That was all of what I Love Texas A&M Bus was about, was finding those creative ideas. And so we very much encourage that. Thank you.
What's on next?
And now we will hear
The board has no news to report.
Okay, howdy everybody.
Howdy. Howdy.
Okay. So I just had a few things. So just to give you some updates on kind of what I've been doing behind the scenes, not just here. So Kyle and I have been serving on the Vice President of Senior Affairs and Advisory System, and that's going really well. I'm really excited for it. I can't get too much information. But just know that administration and students are working really well together. It's somebody who's doing the best fit for the job, and we need to be updated as much as we legally, other than into the contract or something, you know, that's the only question. Please feel free to sign up for this, and we'll be happy to. Next, Brandon and I are going to visit the Health Sciences Center very soon, and we're really excited about getting more involved in the government. They want to feel like they're more connected and plugged in, although we are specifically researching, et cetera, out of allocations. Our Health Science Center expands all across the state. So to have more Aggies incorporated with what we as the government are doing is really positive things, so we're really looking forward to hearing from them. We're also looking forward to meeting with Tasha next week. They are cordially invited myself to come and speak about what students are doing and how they can get involved with that and what students are all about. So we're really excited to go to them. Finally, we had a wonderful web council a few weeks ago with interim vice president and he gave us some really good updates on kind of the ILS data and what they gave us some sample ideas of what administration is doing to kind of resolve those. The example of this is for PCE and we saw on the Twitter account that's something that administration is actually working on. So you see solving in the MSU in data. So that's just an example of how we see and how business is. So next, moving on to my lovely, I just love to do shout out to the as well. Their dog. So once again, I'm gonna have to go to Senator Hood, like without hands down. He's not even here, but he, guys, like since Joseph is perfect example. He is constantly reaching out to students beyond his own friend group to see what he can do to improve their I think that's something that we should all be excited. Next, on a funny note, gotta give a shout out to Hendrix over here in the block. I think he's been the most in order out of the entire meeting. So shout out to Senator Hendrix, although I can't see your face. So next, moving on, just talking about caucus leaders. Caucus leaders, we will be meeting at 8 p.m. on Sunday in Cole. I'm sorry, not 8. That's actually 10:30. We're meeting at 7 p.m. on Sunday in Cole. So we'll meet in the Senate office and we'll go find the room to talk about what is going to happen from this point on. If you cannot attend the meeting, please let the speaker pro tem know. We're going to send out an official list. We're going to create a list of caucus. Please stay in order. We're going to create an official list of caucus leaders so that we'll have a list for going so that you can email all of you will get updated. So don't worry about that. We're going to get that done as quickly as possible. Next, moving on to the meeting in general, I would say that, I mean, looking at the agenda, we flew through 8 bills that are, well, now 9, no, 10 bills that are actually some really productive stuff for the student body, and I think that's water. So I think that part of the meeting was really good in that we were doing great things for the students and actually doing something with our teaching here in our time. However, I think the way that we manage ourselves can be improved a lot. I think that everybody has the right to say how they feel on a certain issue. That's your right to leave your speech. If you don't like something, if you don't like this or that, you have the right to say it. However, I think as far as everybody goes, whether it be positive or negative, it's the best way to do that. And I think we could improve that. Next, I just want to say that I think we all need to really consider about how valuable the committees are. And as somebody who started out in student government as just a regular committee member before I was on Big Court, before I was in Senate, I have to be honest and say that experience really molded my experience at A&M and made me into the person that I wanted to be through learning all about that. I was a part of Carpool and learned so much about what they do, and guys, that organization is so highly intricate. I can't even go into the details. But I mean, regardless of whether or not the action that they're performing is benefiting students, as a student participating in your organization, I am being directly. And so I feel my experience through carpool is actually, I've been in situations before where I've had to use the skill that I've learned from a medical standpoint and actually get somebody to the hospital because they didn't have alcohol with them. The science I learned from something. So just know that the people that are participating in these committees, whether or not they're actually going out and serving seeds, are learning something. And those seeds go to that experience of being and learning something from those things. So yes, you have the right to disagree with this going here, this going there. But just know that the committees are there for a purpose, and sometimes that purpose is going to change. You have the right to change. So just keep that in mind, and let's just be respectful for the with the way that we create this case. Next, moving on to the rules of the meeting, I think Chairman did a really good job of explaining how sometimes I think it can get really crazy. Are you have a question up here? Okay, so, sorry, hard to so anyway, yeah, as far as the rules go, it's very, very hard to run a productive meeting when 25 people are trying to run a meeting while I'm there. So let's keep that in mind. I think you have the right to, if, like Chairman Cole said before, if somebody's out of order, you have the right to call them. But remember, if you read a copy of our like on the first page, it says, these rules were created and intended for the purpose of running an efficient and effective meeting. If making a motion is pointless and it's only costing you time, then you're not actually following the rules of why they were created. And so, also, that's kind of going back to the whole new business thing. You don't need to ask a million questions on a first reading of the bill, because that's what the committee process is for. More people need to show up to the committee meetings in the first place. And as a senator, if you're interested in a bill, you should be there asking questions to the bill writer about it. And so, go with that. Use that. That's what it's for. Constructive time. That's what's great about the meeting, that everything is constructive. So, use that. And then finally, guys, please pay attention to meetings. I've been in your seat, like, just like everybody else, but being up here, I can see every single one of you and what you're doing. It's weird because I always pick up on the mannerisms that some of you have, and it's kind of fun. But anyway, so just know that I can tell when you're paying attention, and I can tell when you're not. I can tell when you're on the computer being constructive with the bill in front of you, and I can tell when you're on Facebook or doing your homework. Because it's really obvious when you have an added textbook in front of you, and I'm looking at the muscular system rather than the bill that's on the wall. If you want to do your homework, go home and do it. Don't be here. You're wasting my time, everybody else's free time, and it's worse than wasting student time, even though we're arguing about whether or not we're beyond that. So please, 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 you're going to come to the meeting, pay attention, and give 100%. I know we're all just, I had an exam this morning, and me and Michael Mercer just destroyed the heck out of that annex reading with marker everywhere about foreign policy. But study for that in advance, not good. So, just that goes for everybody. You're here for a purpose. I know this is a rant, but sitting here having to watch you for 3 hours, however long, 3 hours, not being really, really disrespectful to me, to the bill presenter, to anybody else who's making a motion or a point. Please, it's got to stop. Your adult is called students, your adjunts, you are both on full respect. So let's do that. Thank you so much for everybody that came and talked to us. There is a prize. There are actually multiple prizes. It is really, really good. And there are gift cards to certain places, one of which Senator Cheshire really, really good. But the rest, so to be able to get that gift card, this is how it's going to work, because we're going to use marketing, right? Okay, so stay afterwards. I'm going to take a picture of you. It's going to go on the Senate Facebook page. The picture that gets the most likes, that's one prize. And then we're going to vote as an IA for the rest. And anybody who participates, so Zach, y'all are going
One
to
information, Madam Speaker,
yes.
if you're running a referendum, don't we have to pass a bill?
Oh my gosh. Okay. You want the gift card, so I don't. Okay, so please stay afterwards, come forward, because we're not getting kicked out. It's not 11. I know everybody wants to eat, but please stay for a picture. That would be great and wonderful. And that's all that I have. I know there are several questions. I don't remember who all is not writing and talking at the same time, so that's kind of effective. So, Park, we'll start with you.
Senator Hart, asking of this. As a student at the Health Science Center, would you briefly expand on how this student government certification is going and merging?
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do that. on the Chancellor's Services Advisory Committee, with Kyle Kelly and myself. And they've kind of directed me into their student leadership group and have appointed through an application process 2 liaisons to the student senate who we will confirm at the next meeting after Brady and I go and talk to them. So what they're wanting to do is to have liaisons to student senate so that somebody from the health science center is learning about what's going on in senate that's directly related to the health science center and relaying that back to them by the. So in the future, they're hoping to continue to keep in the body, and that's something that we can further discuss. But that right now, Mary.
Senator Marin, engineering. Permission to briefly preface.
Sure.
You mentioned that the preface in Robert's Rules of Order saying that meetings are to be run efficiently and so on and so forth. Do prefaces count as law, basically?
I'm sorry.
Do prefaces count as law?
Prefaces count as law?
Do they count as such, as binding?
I don't understand what you're asking, but I'm going to go ahead and Google and just go for it. So once again, the example guys. Okay, so the motion to adjourn has been made. Is there a second? All in favor of moving to adjourn, please say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Nay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, guys, in the future, I'm still open here. If something's dilatory, I'm going to be the one to call that because that's my first from the
What you're saying right now.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and say that. If you want to feel what I'm going to do, go ahead. But, so, anyway, the point is, not everybody should be telling me what I need to do. And so that's a waste of time. And I understand that what you're trying to do is take me to be productive. That's not okay. But if it's coming from the standard, if it's coming from Aaron, let us do that. Please. Use the right to call somebody out of order. But if you're doing something that clearly is out of order by trying to tell me or Aaron that what we need to do is in order, then you're out of order. So don't waste your time or mine. Okay, continuing. Who is it? Marinol? You. Okay, sorry. Here we go.
Are you on right now?
Yeah, so as far as questions go, we have like literally still got.
My question, I don't want to, first my question, how do you justify all the things you just said as being in order? Because one of the things we're running into is, and I'm not running through here, but you kind of stand up on a soapbox and just read for a while.
I can actually reach all I want within my lifetime.
But you want
That's not it. So,
Point of information.
yes, please stand and state your name.
Senator Rose, President Caucus. I believe that the reason why that would be out of order is because you had gotten to the questioning period, not the speaking period. Is that correct?
Yes. That is correct. So if you're out of order.
No, we do, I thought.
Okay, so you have to be recognized because you were out of order, so you're not out of order. So you have to be recognized.
Madam Speaker, given that this meeting is going long enough, I move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn has been made. There are multiple seconds. All in favor of the adjourn? Yeah.
Aye.
Nay. All in favor of adjourn, please stand.
Move immediately to close the roll. That's all I'm going to do.
Okay, all in favor, please stand. All opposed? Okay, so all in favor, is that it? Okay. Please sit. All opposed, please stand. Okay, that's it. Okay.
Move.
So, we're going to move into
Order, Madam Speaker, you still have to answer the question I asked.
Okay, let me say this. Okay.
You're out of order right now.
No, I haven't recognized you in the first place. So I didn't recognize you when you made your point. So you're out. So once again, if you have a question, and in that question you are out of order, you are required to sit back down and we will all re-recognize. So you have not lifted your question, and I have not recognized you. If you would like to do so now, you can.
Point of information, Madam Speaker.
This is a waste of time.
I'm sorry, this will be really brief, but the rules and regulations chair is the final, makes the final decision on the rules. And if he rules himself not to be out of order, he's not out of order.
One order, he is out of order.
Some rules from the regulations, so we loosen that.
Guys, this is ridiculous. Here. Do you have anything like
Point of order.
Yes.
You direct answer my question. Then I ask you, ask you how you get but I finished asking the question, and then you were answering it, and I interrupted you and that was the end. The ask you of the question is
Okay, so why am I allowed to stand on the soapbox? Because that's allotted in the agenda that I have 10 minutes to do that. Then I have a 5-minute period of question and answer. In that 5-minute period of question and answer, that's not required. As somebody who can answer the questions, I can answer them just like anybody else could who will. If I have more to add to the comment, I may do that. That's just completely the norm. Just like Travis Walters has the ability to stand on his soapbox. So I don't understand the problem. Yes. Yes.
very little regulations. How do you justify you standing on the soapbox at very
Because I'm controlling the meeting, and I have the ability to be able to control the meeting. If I'm going to move in a certain direction, we need to do that, I can do that. If you have a problem with that, you can rule the chair out of order. So, chair call. Madam Speaker, I'll move the first question. Motion is made to close the period of question and answer. Second, yes. Okay, all in favor of closing the period of question and answer, please say aye. Aye. Please say nay.
All right, everyone. It's great to see you. I just think that this is a great body, you know? But just a few things. I'll keep it brief too. Every single problem that we have in here would be fixed if you wait to be recognized. If you stand up and just start yelling, it is so hard to know what is going on up there because you have 10 people yelling at you at once. Please, just wait for her to point the gavel at you, look at you, some sort of recognition before you just start yelling, because that causes inefficiency. Next, shout out again to Joseph Hood for going to get this into it. That's what we're here to do. We are here to represent student opinion. And even though it is important that we represent our own, we also need to hear the voices of our constituents. Shout out to Fernando Sosa. He's putting together a suggestion box to go online so that we will be able to have it on the website where we'll be able to put it through there on top of having the table here. I apologize to the people whose placards I said that I would fix. Our Chair Mitchell did what was in the bylaws and printed out our code, which is hundreds of pages long, but it used up the Senate's principle. So I'll have to wait till November before I can do that. There were moments in this meeting today where it really did restore my faith in this body, especially with that finance bill for fish days. That was something that we were in support of last week, and while the opinion wasn't as much on one side as I thought it was going to be, it went through and we did a very good thing for a very good committee. Also, to the allegations made by people that they are some sort of treehouse that hangs out in there. It's a fun treehouse. They're a very friendly treehouse, and I'm sure they will be willing to talk to you anytime you walk through there. If you ever feel excluded, it is because you are not saying hello. Just give a nice howdy, and they will happily talk to you. They're all great people. Lastly, there are opinions in here, and there are bills that go through that I do not agree with. But I do believe that the majority of people in here, most of the time, are expressing their views because they do it for their love of fixing what they're saying. So even though there are some things that I don't necessarily agree with, I trust this body and I will stand by this body as it goes through. But I will have a problem if anybody does anything in here because of malicious intent against one of our committees.
So always keep that in mind. You are here for your love of Texas A&M University, the bettering of SGA, and so that we can raise the committees so that they can go farther or further. Let's see, further. Up in A&M and wherever else they may go. So with that, I will move into the period of questions.
Let's start with Jimmy.
Are you aware that after printing off the code, Chair Mitchell went to the people that allocate the printing allocations and stuff, under the direction of Kenneth Johnson, who's sitting over there, and got us more printing allocations?
I was not aware. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, we're still up for this month, but November we can print out more codes. Any other questions? All right, then we're gonna go into, we'll do roll call. SVP Kelly, good luck on your test, man. Chief Justice Hoover, Speaker Uyghur, myself, Chair Mitchell, Chair Sonka, Felder, Springer, Walters, G, Sosa, Boney, Gordon, Waskins, Stephen Brown, Hahn, Broderick, French, Slusser, Smith, Stanberry, Allen, Baltzar, Beck-Houston, Lorma, Weatherson, Fairfax, Henderson, Harris, Marinoff,
Howdy.
Lambert, Watts, Thornburg, Button,
Adira. Can't hear.
Lepin, Valentine, Cheshire, Aviv, Jones, Roddicker, Baker, Houston, Flores, Luna, Alexander, Barnes, Brock, Brown, Kilwell, Bradley, Dang, Carter, Dean, De Leon, Carlson,